All right, folks, I wanted to talk today about some information released today, January 17th, by prominent conservative commentator Steven Crowder. Now, yesterday, on January 16th, Steven Crowder tweeted this. He said, "I'm done being quiet tomorrow." Okay. So today, Steven Crowder posted a video in which he revealed some interesting information about some of the sort of behind the scenes negotiations that go on at what he described as some prominent conservative media companies. He didn't specify any one in particular, but I think we can sort of fill in some of the gaps here. Let me know what you all think. So I'm going to play a couple clips and then we'll sort of talk about it and go over some of the information that he released. So here's Steven Crowder.
So stopbigcon.com now exists to begin with. It's been a while. Either this has to stop, or I'm going to have to stop. Either this, what I'm about to discuss, has to stop, or I don't know. This may just not be for me anymore. So let me explain. Give me a few minutes of your time because context matters here. I ask that you don't skip ahead. It won't take very long. This has been a long time coming. This is a conversation that I've actively avoided, sidestepped, and I've hoped and prayed that it not be necessary behind the scenes for a long while, but that's no longer possible. So if you've watched for the last decade, you know that I've always made it clear that we here at...
Okay, so that's how Steven Crowder starts his video here. I'll post a link to it, so if you haven't seen it, you can watch the whole thing and let me know what you think. So we are going to skip ahead here, despite what Steven told us to do here. We're just going to kind of get to the gist of it and talk about some of the things that he has a major problem with some of these conservative companies here. So I'm gonna play another clip.
In a period to field offers from other people, other key players in this movement. They flooded in. Now, before you guess who it is, before you start...
So he's talking about here a number of years ago when he was looking to join a conservative organization. He was getting offers from some of these companies. So that's what he's referring to here.
Trying to do some Sherlock Holmes work. There are far more people beneath the tip of the iceberg than you know about who are trying to get into this space. There are more than you would probably assume. So I went into free agency. I looked over the offers. And I saw the clause come out. And I don't just mean unreasonable demands for control, but what I would argue are immoral terms that actually punish conservative content creators on behalf of big tech. And that's something that I just couldn't unsee. And I want to let you know, it's not the exception. It's the rule. Kids out there coming up. We need to build a bench here in this movement. It's almost impossible.
Okay, so what he's referring to here is apparently some pretty unsavory contract stipulations that some of these media companies, conservative media companies, are making some of their talent sign before they are allowed to come on board and be part of their organization. He says that he got many offers at one point when he was looking for an organization to join, bring his show to, and that he was really appalled by what he saw. Now he says that he's not specifically referring to the Blaze. So what are some of the other companies out there? Is he talking about the Daily Wire? Is he talking about, I don't know, Breitbart, Daily Caller? I'm going to assume that most of what he's referring to here is the Blaze, because that's where Steven Crowder's been for the last 4 years. He's no longer with them. But I believe he's talking about them. He specifically referred earlier to not having access to his Louder with Crowder email list, which is why he's putting out this website now and trying to keep in touch with as many of the people that subscribed to his show through the Blaze as possible. Now, there's an interesting note here. We're going to look at. He posts here one of the conditions of the contract that basically the organization is going to have complete control over their talent, their merchandise, their social media, their email list. So the talent really has no say whatsoever in terms of how their image is being used. They don't have any way to actually monetize it any other way than through the organization that they're with. Now he obviously redacts here the specifics, but again, we can read between the lines. Let me know what you all think. Who do you think he's referring to here? I think it's the Blaze, but maybe you might have another idea. And then there's another interesting note here where he posts another thing here about how some of these organizations are punishing their talent if they happen to be subject to demonetization by YouTube. It says here YouTube, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. That they will have to pay massive penalties to the company if this happens. So now we know that these organizations are going after conservative content creators. So it's a little unsavory that the company would actually punish them if they happen to step out of line, according to what some of these big tech platforms think. So kind of crazy here. Maybe not. I mean, maybe this is just standard. Maybe this is just standard stuff. He makes it seem like it is. He says he didn't have to sign this type of contract where he was, under the previous arrangement with the Blaze. But then he also goes on to say that basically he didn't have access to his email list and can't access his Louder with Crowder Mug Club email list from his time with the Blaze. So he's contradicting himself a little bit there. But I'm really curious to know what you all think about this. Is this much ado about nothing? Is this just standard business practice, or is there a lot of unsavory contractual stuff going on behind the scenes with some of these big conservative companies? Now, I happen to think it's a good thing that there are the conservative content sphere is very fragmented, and there aren't just one or two big players, but there are big players that do dominate some of the scene. So if he can expose some of this and maybe bring some positive changes to it by exposing it, I'm all for it. But again, let me know what you all think. I'm definitely curious to know your opinion on this. So leave a comment below, and as always, we'll see you on the next one.